Hey, good morning, and like I promised, I was going to show you what I bought at a yard sale. Rule is, when things get old, they will show up at a yard sale. Sooner or later, you will find them at a yard sale. And this past weekend found a 3D printer at a yard sale, which was like, not that unusual. This is probably the third or fourth one in the last couple of months that I have come up on that was at a yard sale. The problem is, I don't know what it is. I don't know who made this one. Yeah, for $30, this is the 3D printer buy from a yard sale. And usually a lot of times they're $50 or $100. They're in a box, they're brand new, they haven't even been opened or something, and you know, that's a fair deal. The only reason I got interested in this one was this build plate is huge. This is 315 millimeter by 315 millimeter with a total of about 450 millimeters for build volume, that's huge for an old 3D printer. Now, that was fine. The problem was once I got it home and started looking at it, I could not identify the machine. So I guess I'm going to have to ask for some comments if anybody can come up with an idea who did this. You know, the frame is terrible. It's only 20 by 20 extruded aluminum construction all the way through, with single screws holding this together. Single screw. You know, it's not a well built 3D printer. I have stiffened this up already since I got it back here, and it had dual Z steppers, which is really unusual. Usually it's just one over here or something, like the old CR10 or something. And this is not the case. It has dual Z. It also had a filament runout sensor that was up here that was broke off. They jumped it out at some point, and there's been a lot of mods, a lot of modification things. Obviously, this is one of those V6 volcano heaters. So whoever was doing this was really messing around with a lot of stuff, because not only did they do this, but there is no cooling fan here offered with the print, which is kind of, I don't know how that's going to work out. We're going to test it pretty soon. But the problem was, if I go into Cura and I want to set up a machine or printer profile, I can't, because I have no idea who this is. The control box here looks to be some kind of kit bash made printer, because the control box is totally all nuts and bolts and screws to hold all the different pieces together. Really strange. The card is here on this side, which again is unusual as opposed to this side, but it does have a Cat 5 or 6 plug here. So I was thinking maybe plug it into the laptop and just see if the laptop can recognize it and say, oh, this is, such and such a printer, because I just can't identify it. The other thing was, it has these really nice aluminum wheels here for adjusting the print bed, and they're very close together, which again, a little unusual. The whole thing is very unusual. It was obviously in some ways kind of cheap build for some of it. Obviously it looks like maybe an AliExpress special. The cable management here was really strange. They've got this fabulous cable here, but when you come out over here, there's nothing. So you have to really watch this cable. I actually put a tie wrap up here and hung the cable up a little bit to keep it away from this wheel dragging, that sort of thing. It's got hard limits for everything, so hard limits is good. That's like, man, that's totally acceptable. Marlin software. When you boot this thing up, it does not tell you, what it is hooked up to. It looks a lot like the CR10 screen here, but it's not obviously it's not a CR10. It's not Creality. It's whoever it is, or CR10 clone. I went over the internet. I could not identify this 3D printer, so that's kind of frustrating. I am going to try like a CR10 profile and just see if that'll work, or the longer LK5 Pro profile, and see if maybe it will run without any glitches, on this machine. We just don't know who it is. It's the Marlin software is what's in here. That's a given. It's not going to be it's not going to be Clipper, and it's going to be a very old, very slow machine. The only reason I was attracted to buying it was this build plate is huge, and it was like, I have hyper machines, but they're like the Bamboo Lab. They're 256. They're small build plates. So they're not usable for my big stuff. I was like, they're just too small. Like bamboo, it's one of the reasons I don't have a bamboo lab machine in here, is because that printer size just, just no. I need over 300 millimeter in build plate. And this one being 315 again was very strange, because the CR10 and the LK5 Pro both have 300 millimeter build plates, and if you measure them, I think they come up at 305, I believe is the size, or 310, somewhere in that range. So this being 315 again was like, I've never heard of that. I've never seen it. And in fact, I've got a magnet base to stick on here and a PEI sheet that'll be in here maybe Friday or something, and that's when we'll start experimenting with this software situation, just see if we can use somebody else's printer profile with Cura to run this. If we can get it running, all this is going to be is a backup machine in case my big machines break down. If we're stuck and we can't print, then we can jump on this thing and at least we can print with it. And the other problem I've got, and I'm still a little upset over this, like I said, is there's no cooling fan here for the filament, and I'd really like to have that in there. There is an output port right here that might be for that cooling parts fan thing, going up here or something. I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't recognize this assembly even. I think this was an aftermarket that he's put on afterwards. There's a lot of things about a 3D printer like this that you sort of have to need to watch out for. Now the first thing was this build plate I'm moving it around right now, it's not moving. I tightened it all up so it's really nice and tight now. It was so sloppy, it was flopping around like this when I brought it to the house. And the other problem that I ran into though immediately was these the wheels here, all the little rubber wheels. They're sloppy and there's no way to fix them. There's no cam adjustment on them to tighten the wheels up a little bit. So that's kind of, that's a little bit sucky poo. And I've taken a look at a couple of ideas of printing something up so that I can get these wheels tighter so that everything is nice and tight like when the machine was brand new. The 20 by 20 is really strange with this extrusion too. Normally you would have 20 by 40 in the base right here, 20 by 40 here with 2 screws to support this. This being so sloppy, there should have been like a strut brace from here to here on both sides or something to help just stiffen up the whole machine overall. The steppers are basic cheap stepper motors, nothing too fancy going on there. Probably this is one of the fanciest things in the whole machine is that chain right there with the cable management was like, wow, And then the cable amount is crazy. I mean, they've got huge hunks of cable. This thing could have been located, up here someplace because there's just so much cable involved with the machine and it's so sloppy. So there's really a lot going on. It's almost like it was a kit build, home bash kit build, do it yourself, printer for whatever dollars. But somebody was using it for a while and they were putting, I'm going to take a guess and say they were putting some money into this thing, like this sort of thing. If you're going to do something like this, if you're looking for speed and you can't do anything else, at least go to like a 0.06 nozzle, something like that, or even a 0.08. And that will immediately in your profile settings immediately give you more speed. You don't have to have this is a 0.04, which is fine, but that's what's in there. And whoever this was, all he had to do was jump to like a bigger nozzle, and he could have printed faster if that's what he was after, because it's really a lot of questions that will never be answered. But the box here, like I said, I have never ever seen a box like this for the 3D printers. I've seen variations of this, but not this box. So I really don't understand what that is. In fact, when you boot it up, it just shows the 3D printer logo here, just saying 3D printer. And then once it goes to the control package here, it looks a lot like the CR10. In fact, it looks like an absolute duplicate of the CR10. But again, you're talking Marlin software, so it's like this is what you're going to get. And it even operates like the old CR10 with the button and stuff, so that's cool. And it does work. I have tested a little bit before I removed the plate. What they had here was a piece of glass with tons of glue and hairnet spray and God knows what else on there, trying to get this to stick to that old glass. And again, all he had to do was put a magnetic sheet here with a PEI sheet magnetic base, PEI sheet, and he would have had, probably wouldn't have had any problem sticking. I think he was having a lot of trouble sticking to the bed, and maybe even that's where he gave up finally. He or she, because we're really not sure. At the yard sale, I had to deal with Grandma was selling the machine, so I was like, and nobody seemed to know what the machine was. They didn't have any history on it, so it was really questionable. So like, how did this happen? Now, just in case anybody, because I understand where they're going to come from, the disc that's here is a blank one with a couple of Cura prints for Ford Motor Company car parts or whatever was on here. That was all it was on. There was nothing else. So again, it didn't tell me anything, and when I loaded it to my computer, it automatically went to the longer LK5 Pro profile, but that doesn't mean that that's correct or that's what it is. It was like, that's already on my Cura, so, and I haven't used Cura, I hate to say it, in a long time, but haven't needed to, because I use Orca Slicer for most of my work, and also Prusa. I use those two slicers mostly. I do have a lot of the other slicers, and I used to use Cura years ago on my on a CR10 machine. So again, I'm thinking I might try the old CR10 or something profile and just see if that'll if everything will work fine and it won't cough and spit and do anything weird. Because the one time when I experimented years ago, and I was trying a different profile on a machine that it was not, the weirdest thing happened. When it finished the print, this piece here would back away and it would stop, and then the plate would stay on. Yeah, it was just, it was a conflict. Obviously, I didn't have the right machine profile for what I was doing. And the other possibility was to go into like Prusa or something and just do a custom profile and build a profile that works for this machine. I don't know how much time or money I want to put into this, because like I say, it's right now, if it works, it will become just a backup in reserve machine in case something happens where we need to order parts for our big machines that are broke down or something. Then we can put the jobs over here on this one until the parts get in for the big ones that do the real work kind of thing. I don't know where else to go with it at this point. But one thing I did think about with our viewers was, if you do see a 3D printer like this out there in the yard sale world, there's a lot of things to look for, and some of the stuff, there was at least one thing that I missed on, but it may or may not be a deal breaker for anybody, but it would be nice to, like first thing, know whose machine is it. Give me a name. I don't care if it's, Maker Spit or, whatever, but give me a name for this machine so I know what it is, and I'm hoping comments below somebody will say, oh, I recognize and I know that machine exactly, and this is what it is. But yeah, what are the chances? Yeah, probably not very good. I have taken a look at a lot of, from Neptune to you name it, the old BBQ, whatever. Just looked through a lot of old 3D printers online trying to identify this, and no luck. Well, it's kind of like the next day. Good morning, everybody. And there was one other thing I was going to show you that came in actually came in late last night, but I just thought it'd be an interesting reference to situation. This is a steel plate, and the client wanted a disc in the center with a small 2mm center reference right here for the disc. And so basically, let's see if I can even get this out of here now. Here we go. Just basically 3D print a center disc that would slide and fit into here, which it does. It fits, snaps in nice and tight, and allows them to do whatever reference they want with the disc. So it was just something they wanted, and I don't really, beyond that, I have no idea what they want to do with that. That's like, okay, whatever, we'll do it. So we made that up last night and this morning, and the bad thing is people don't understand 3D printing sometimes. So a job like that is, it's sort of like, oh, that'll take, an hour, whatever, because you got to draw it up once you get some specs from the customers to, okay, what exactly you want, it's like, and they spec'd out what they want. So, okay, fine. So I drew it up real quick. It takes, you know yourself, that job there takes 5 minutes on a CAD program to draw something up like that and put a little reference in the center, 2mm, and it was 101.3 whatever millimeters wide. It was like, yeah, okay, we'll draw all this up. And then printing it takes about half an hour on even on a hyper-speed machine, which is what I ran it on. And there's the disc. Now it's finished. Send it back to the customer, and he'll have it as early as probably tomorrow. I don't think he'll have it today, but I will probably drop it off with him tomorrow or something and see what else he needs. But job like that, if you really wanted to price it seriously out of the box, between the CAD program and the time on the machine and you know your time, all the rest of it, you could easily charge $150 or $200 for that. But most clients are going to say, we ain't going to pay it, you know. And then the industry sometimes, if it's important to them, that money doesn't mean anything. So it's really it's an interesting situation, 3D printing. Really love it, but sometimes a job like that is, oh, give me 20 bucks for a cup of coffee and we'll just call it a day. You know, it's like, that's the way that is sometimes. We got tickets. We got a few, not a lot, but we got some tickets for the draw. So we're giving away the Teshman. It's a smart digital meter. So, yeah. This one here, the batteries are already in it. Sorry about that, but when you get it, you know, you'll know the batteries are already in it. It's ready to go. You know, and you have to play with those probes on the end a little bit to make sure you got good contact whenever you're using this particular one. Or get some foil or something. Just stuff it in there. It'll increase the contacts. I don't like banana jacks for that reason. Always had problems with banana jacks with that. So this is a classic. You know, it's a 50-year industrial problem now, maybe more than 50 years. Let's get the coffee cup can here and let's do the draw so we can figure out who's getting this. So we have our coffee can, Maxwell House, whatever, and we get all the tickets. There was a little bit more this time around, so that was kind of cool. We used to get a lot, and it used to take me hours to make the tickets up even sometimes, and I don't mind. You know, it's not a big deal. As you can see, I reduce everything to a small ticket and then print it up and cut the tickets on a slicing machine, and that way we don't waste a lot of paper or anything like that. But yeah, let's just mix these up and grab a name. And anybody that put their name in is in this can, okay? If you put your name in, it's in the can. And we deleted all the files this morning too. So if I lose something, I got a big ticket here. Oh, Kenneth up there in Cleveland, Texas. Okay, buddy. Yeah, I know him a little bit. He's a ham radio operator, and he's in Cleveland there. And I hope you got your address right, which yes, you do. I know his address. Kenneth. I'll be darned. Okay, well, you know what, Kenneth? I'm sending this up to you, man. Good luck with that. Enjoy. And for everybody else, please, thank you very much for putting your name in. It just, you know, even Greg that was out there in Oregon, he put his name in again and laughed. Says, maybe I'll have two of them, you know. You know what? You never know. It's possible. I try to keep it as dead fair as possible, that just random, whatever comes out of this jar, that's who's getting it, you know, so. Whoop. We just lost the lid. No biggie. Hey, thank you so much for watching Coffee and Tools, and please like, share, subscribe, and ring the notice bell, because we give stuff away, and next week we'll be giving some more stuff away. Meantime, congratulations, Kenneth. I'll be darned. Okay. Over and out.